Endo Theater presents The Nevermore Graves. Chapter 1. Isaac. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted, nevermore. Isaac awakes staring up at a gloomy grey sky. It takes him a second to remember what happened and where he is. His head, surprisingly, barely aches at all, and his hand comes away clean as he feels for a wound. No ache, no wound. Good. Now, how'd I get on my back? Isaac rolls over and takes a second to process what he sees. Dirt. He looks to his other side. Also dirt. He looks up to realize the gray sky he's been seeing is neatly framed by a rectangle of the stuff. Isaac is lying in an open grave. He fights the urge to scream. How did he end up here? The kids from the party? Even they didn't seem that cruel. Even if they had found him and put him here, it was pitch black when he crashed. Had he been out all night? Surely not. He slowly brings himself to stand, trying not to dirty his clothes more than he assumes they already have been. The last thing he needs is for his parents to see him come home a mess after being gone all night. The grave is, as custom, 6 feet deep, and has no handholds or anything to stand on. Isaac tries not to panic as he comes to terms with the fact he probably won't be able to climb out of it alone. He attempts to pull himself up, but the soil on the edge of the grave crumbles in his hands as he pulls. Use your phone, Emrys, you're not a caveman. Right. Thanks, Alex. Isaac feels his right pocket. Then his left. No phone. Wonderful. He'll have to wait where he is until someone finds him. It can't be that long, right? Don't they have people out here to take care of the graves? Surely someone will find him. Or he'll starve to death. Or die of thirst. Or... You finally awake! Phew, took you long enough. Isaac tries his best to peer over the lip of the grave. Sitting in the grass is a young boy in a Victorian newsy sort of outfit. Isaac can picture him shouting, "Extra, extra," with near perfect clarity. Right, let's get you up and out of there now, eh? The kid offers Isaac a hand. Isaac takes it, and while the kid isn't very strong, it gives Isaac something to hold on to that isn't dirt. With some effort, he pulls himself out of the grave. There we are. Bet you're glad to be out of there. I take it you're a new one. The kid sounds perpetually amused by everything around him. Isaac isn't quite sure what he means by a new one, and the boy doesn't seem inclined to explain. Name's Pip. At least I think it is. Been here a long time, you see. Gets awful hard to remember things like that. Pip. Isaac repeats. Right. Isaac looks around, trying to find the gate so he can get home. Unless, of course, the kid stole his bike as well. He finds he's nowhere near the gate. As a matter of fact, he can't see the gate at all. All he can see is grass and headstones that eventually drop off into wispy white fog. Did they seriously carry him all the way out here just to mess with him? Alex was right, he shouldn't have gone. They made a fool of him before he even showed up to the party. Take a good long look, mister. You're gonna be here for a good long while. Why was this child so cheerfully grim? What are you talking about? Pip looks at him like he's from another planet. Well, you're here. In the Nevermore Graves. Nobody gets out of here easy. In the... What? Go on, try to leave. 4 quid says you can't. Did you say quid? Pip doesn't answer him. Isaac decides to take him up on his offer. Nice meeting you, Pip. Pip only giggles behind his hands. Isaac begins walking. He's not sure where he's walking to, but he'll be able to get out either way. It isn't like he's never hopped a fence before. So Isaac picks a direction, and he walks. And walks. And walks. The graveyard wasn't this big, was it? He's been walking for ages. After a while, Pip catches up to him, and he follows Isaac like a duckling follows its mother. You're not getting out, you know. Not for a good long while, at least. Never seen no one get out of here. No one to talk to has either. We should probably find somewhere to stay sometime soon. You don't want to be out when it gets dark. Fine. Isaac will humor the kid for a bit. What happens when it gets dark? Pip shudders and shakes his head. Ooh, bad news, sir. That's when the monsters come out. Monsters, Isaac repeats. Right. It's been about 2 hours now, by Isaac's estimation. He's been walking the entire time, but strangely enough, doesn't feel tired. It's more of a strange feeling of absence, like feeling the empty hole in your gums where a loose baby tooth used to be. Not painful, not bad, but odd. Something was here. Something should be here, but it isn't. Isaac knows he could keep walking for an imperceptible amount of time. The feeling makes him uneasy. "Ready to stop yet?" Pip asks. Isaac nearly forgot that he wasn't traveling alone. "I've never been out this late before." Isaac casts a glance towards the kid and sees that the cheerful demeanor Pip had been carrying was dropped somewhere along their journey. He walks, hunched, glancing all around. There's a certain rhythm to it. Left, right, over the shoulder. Left, right, over the shoulder. He wrings his hands with a sort of feverish intensity. Isaac turns his gaze back to the fog where the horizon should be. He sees the sun shining through the fog. Or, rather, half of it. It's setting. Here there be monsters, Isaac thinks fleetingly with a sort of vague amusement that's quickly lost in the noise of the dread building inside of him like a shepherd's tone. Isaac walks faster. Pip continues to glance left, right, over the shoulder. The sun continues to set. So, I gotta ask, what's with the outfit? And the accent? Isaac figures maybe making conversation will calm the kid down a bit. Couldn't hurt for him, either. "Not sure what you mean, sir. Just what I was wearing when I got here." "And how long ago did you get here?" "Oh, tough to figure out, that is. After a while you stop counting the days. Right pointless on account of the fact that you don't get any older." "Enough, kid. This has to be a dream. I'm just still out of it from when I hit my head. Maybe I'm in a coma or something." "Ah, hit your head, eh? Nasty way to end up in the graves, that's for sure." Wait a minute, are you saying I died? Pip, are we in hell?" Pip actually laughs, despite how anxious he seems. "Ooh, no, you're alive. At least for now you are. Would you stop being so ominous?" The kid makes a face. What? It just then occurs to Isaac how young this kid is. "How old are you again?" Pip counts on his fingers for a second. "About 9 when I showed up here, I think." Isaac stopped walking and turned to look the kid over. Sure, he looked around that age, but there was something about his eyes that made them look much older than the rest of him. Suddenly all the color drains from Pip's face, and he slowly raises a shaky hand to point towards the horizon. The sun." Isaac turns and sees that the half-circle of the sun has become exponentially smaller, and he looks just in time to see it disappear behind the horizon, leaving them in darkness. Isaac feels Pip rush over and grip his pant leg. Isaac was never good with these kinds of things. These kinds of things being children. He reaches down and pats the kid's head. Hey, it's alright, kid. Nothing's gonna get you. I'm right here." Pip shakes his head and points again. Isaac follows his hand and feels his blood run cold. There, in the darkness, are 2 small eyes. Little white circles that give away next to nothing about the creature they belong to. Isaac blinks, and the thing is so close he can feel its cold, heavy breath on his skin. For the second time that day, Isaac fights the urge to scream. Pip, get behind me. Now." The thing tilts its head. Isaac feels Pip press something into his palm with small, shaky fingers. He feels it over in his hand, careful not to make any sudden movements. A small, wooden stick with a bulbous edge on one side. Alex pipes up in the back of Isaac's head. "It's a match, Isaac. Instead of standing there like a moron, for God's sake, use it or we're both dead." Isaac steadies himself and attempts to control his breathing. He flips the match around in his hand and begins to strike the head of the match with the tip of his thumb. Once. Twice. Fire. Isaac swings the match at the thing's face, not sure what to do with it, but too terrified to think of anything else. The thing screeches at the sight of the flame, and in the dim light of it, time seems to slow as Isaac catches a single, fleeting glimpse of its face. Dear God. 2 eyes. 2 eyes like small, full moons. Isaac could see the reflection of the flame in them when he swung it. The rest of its face was nearly devoid of any features, no mouth, no nose, no ears. Its skin is a rough, ashy gray, covered in bizarre, craterous patterns, almost like burn scars. It's a lanky, almost skeletal thing with ribs that show through the skin of what Isaac supposes to be its abdomen. Its limbs look wrong in some intangible way, and Isaac realizes with horror that its legs are bent in more places than they should be. Its two arms are bony and nearly as long as its legs. They extend down past its first set of knees and end in three simple, curved claws. Claws that are rapidly approaching Isaac's face as he recovers from the shock of seeing the thing. The blades graze the flesh of his cheek, and he feels blood begin to trickle from the wound. The revelation hits him all at once. This is real. For the first time that day, Isaac allows himself to scream. The thing flinches at the sound, but quickly recovers, swinging again at Isaac's hand. Isaac realizes the match is nearly burnt down to his fingertips, and only now is he starting to feel the searing heat of the flame. The pain increases as the claws connect with the back of his hand. Isaac drops the match to the floor and braces himself. He's going to die. This thing is real, and it's going to kill him. What a way to go. He squeezes his eyes shut, but realizes he prefers to keep them open. Whatever this thing is, he wants to see it. He wants to be as in the moment as possible, no matter how terrible that moment may be. He opens his eyes. But the creature isn't attacking him anymore. As a matter of fact, it seems to have lost interest in him entirely. In the dying light of the smoldering match in the grass, Isaac sees the creature has crouched down low before it. Its face is turned away from the flame, and it pats the grass frantically, one hand at a time. The gesture seems almost childish to Isaac. When the flame is fully snuffed out and it's pitch black once again, the silvery eyes bound off into the darkness. Isaac can't bring himself to move from where he's standing. He slowly reaches up with a shaking hand to feel the wound on his cheek. Because he's unable to see the blood, he stands there, feeling it in his hand. This isn't a dream. This is real. Isaac tries to think of a time when a sentence as simple as that has terrified him so much. He feels Pip tug on his other arm, which hangs limp at his side. Sir, I think we should be going now. There's a spot right here. Pip pulls Isaac towards a mausoleum, and Isaac wishes he could find it within himself to protest. The kid pulls the door open with surprising ease as he leads Isaac by the hand down a set of stone steps. The steps lead into a room that Isaac doesn't care to investigate. There's a fireplace. That's all the information he absorbs. He simply stares off as Pim sits him down by the fireplace, which is lit and pleasantly warm. I'm sorry, mister, I really am. I should have warned you. You did warn me. I didn't believe you. He hears his own voice quiver. This is real, Pip. Pip nods. It is. I understand if you didn't believe me at first, probably thought I was cracked in the head. I don't blame you. Whole thing's balmy, if you ask me. Isaac draws in a long breath and tries to distract himself. Where did you get the match? Pip pulls a crinkled old matchbox out of his pocket. Ah, these. Had 'em with me when I got here. Never gets any emptier. Pip tries to chuckle, then gives up. Everybody gets something they can take with them. You should have something too, I think. Isaac checks his pockets again. He feels something in his back pocket, the one he didn't check when he was looking for his phone. He pulls from it a small, sleek, fold-out knife. Alex gave him that knife. Isaac would say Pip seems jealous, but he isn't entirely sure Pip can feel any sort of bitter about anything. Ooh, useful that is. Where was that when the stoke at us? For the first time since the attack, Isaac turns to look at Pip. The stalk? Pip nods. The thing that roughed you up back there? I think that's what they call him, at least. There's more than one. Another nod. Yep, they're a whole, what'd you call it, species, Isaac suggests. Pip snaps his fingers and points. Species, yeah. Spooky old things they are. Isaac turns back to the fire, then looks at the pocket knife he holds in his hand. Curiously enough, his vision blurs and he feels the warmth of fresh tears welling up in his eyes. What is this place, Pip? That's the funny part, Pip says, although his tone of voice tells Isaac it isn't funny at all. Lots of people have been here a long, long time, but as far as I've been told, nobody's quite figured that one out. This has been The Nevermore Graves by Endo Theater. This episode was written, narrated, and produced by Endo Theater. Want merch? More stories? A chance to have your name on an episode? Please support the channel to make things like this possible in the future. Listen to us on Podbean at endotheater.podbean.com. Special thanks to @TheRealMrGodzilla for shouting out the channel. Oh, and before you go, somewhere in the universe, there exists a perfect carbon copy of yourself, exactly identical to you in every way. They are aware of your existence. The thought of it disgusts them.